Hi guys, hope you are doing well. Welcome to the channel. In this video, we will learn what are mail flow rules in Exchange Online and how we can create different mail flow rules according to our security requirements. Here is the use case of mail flow rules which are best for security purpose. We have to add disclaimer. For example, when our organization's user receive an email from external user, a caution banner will be displayed on the top of the email body content like, for example, please use caution before opening attachments or clicking links. So this banner will inform user this is an external email and you have to be careful while clicking on the URLs or opening attachments in the emails. We also need to prevent internal organization user to send or receive emails to or from outside the organizations. We also want to stop people to auto forward their official emails to their personal emails ID or any external user for security purpose. We want to block external sender email address and its domain. In case if organization is receiving inappropriate emails from that sender or domain. And we also want to block email based on content of email subject and body. If email contains abusive or inappropriate contents. Here we will discuss mail flow rules and how they transit. Mail flow rules, also known as transport rules. In mail flow rules, we specify conditions within emails sent by your organization and take an action you specify. Mail flow rules always take an action on message while they are in transit. No action after the message is delivered to the mailbox. Now we will discuss mail flow rules components. What are the conditions? Actions in rule, its exceptions, and its properties. Condition can be message header fields and message properties. Message header fields, for example, the to, from, or CC fields in the message. And message property is, for example, the message subject, the message body, its attachments, message size, or message classification. Available actions such as rejecting, deleting, or redirecting messages, or we can insert disclaimer in the message body. Exceptions optionally override conditions and prevent the rule actions from being applied to a message. When the rule should be applied, this is the property, and whether to enforce or test the rule. In the time period when the rule is active, we can specify time period. In the lab session, these components will be highly used while creating mail flow rules. Now we will learn how mail flow rules are applied to messages. Mail flow rules are always processed in the order list or based on priority. Its mean default priority is based on when the rule is created. Older rules have a higher priority than newer rules, and higher priority rules are processed before lower priority rules. Sometimes you might set up several rules that could apply to same group and you want to stop processing more rules. If you have selected the option of stop processing more rules, whenever the first rule is matched, it stops checking the next rule in the list. In the lab exercise, we will learn how we can create a mail flow rules as per our security requirements. So let's get it started. I have successfully logged into my Exchange Admin Center. So now we have to create a mail flow rules. Just click on mail flow. Here is the rules. And here is the plus sign button for creation of the new rules. Just click here and select create a new rule. Choose more options. So here is the parameters to define the mail flow rules. So first is we have to enter our mail flow rule name, and the second option is add condition. So we have to select the condition as per our security requirement. So here is the option: the sender is the person, is external or internal, the recipient, the subject or body parameters, and there are a lot more other options you can select as per your requirement. So next thing is we have to define our action. We have to add our action here. So we can select the action from this menu, and here are the lot of options we have to choose as per our requirement. So we can block the message, we can add the disclaimer here, and we can forward the emails. As we can define the actions as per our requirement. So here we can also add the exceptions here. So we can, once we click on the add exceptions, there are many other options to define the exceptions. We can add exception to sender or recipient or even domain levels, or we can add also exception for the subject or the body of the emails. I had already created a few rules in Exchange Admin Centers to save the time. Let's go through each rules one by one. Here is the first rule, which is for disclaimer. Select and click edit. So we will go through the disclaimer mail flow rules. We can see here is the name of the disclaimer, which is disclaimer received from scope outside the organization, and the condition is the sender should be located on the outside the organization. The condition is the sender is internal or external, so we have to select outside the organization, and the action should be apply a disclaimer to message prepend. So which means whenever a user receives the email from outside the organization, a caution banner will be displayed on the top of the screen message of for the user. So here is the text for the disclaimer, which is in HTML format. You can define as per your requirement or your security statement. Here is the exception. We can also add the exception for IPs or this or as per your requirement. So here is the many options here we can define here in the exceptions, and the mode of the rule is enforce. So I'm not going to select any schedule for this rule. So once we create a rule, the rule should be enabled upon creation of the rule. Click save. Let's go through the next mailflow rule. Here is the mailflow rule to block the sender domain. Select the mailflow rule and click edit. Choose more options. So here is the name of the mailflow rules, and here is the condition. The condition is the sender address includes any of these words, which means you can add here the domain name for the block purpose. Here is the condition, and here is the actions. So I want to select the condition here, which is delete the message without notifying anyone. So you can define the condition as per your security requirements. So once you define the rule settings here, you can click save for the save rule. The next rule is stop forwarding emails. Select the rule and click edit. Let's go through this rule. So this rule will be applied to user if the condition is the sender is located inside the organization and the recipient is located outside the organization. You can define here outside the organization, and the message type, the condition one more setting here, which is we can define here to stop auto forwarding emails to another email address. So we have to select the message properties, include the message type property. So we can define the property value, which is auto forward, and we can also define automatic reply, voicemail, sign, and there are a lot of options here you can define as per your security requirements. So this is for stop auto forwarding rules. So we have to select auto forward options in the condition property. So the action should be reject the message with the explanation. So here you can define the explanation for the end user. So we can your security message should be displayed here in the property value. If once you define the rule, and you can save the rule here. Now the next rule is to block the body content of the message. Select this rule and click edit. Here is the condition and action for this rule. The sender is located outside the organization, and one more condition here is the subject or body includes any of these words. So you can enter your words or any value which is included in subject or body of the email. You can define as per your security requirements. The action should be delete the message without notifying anyone. Okay. And once you define the properties or the values of the rules, you can save the settings here. Let's go through the next two rules, which is for senders outside the organization and recipient outside the organization, which means the company wants to prevent users to send and receive emails outside the organizations. So let's go through the very first rule, and which condition is the sender is located outside the organization and recipient is the member. We have explicitly add the members in this group. I had already created a restricted user mail enable group, and I have already defined the group here, and you can add your recipients or members as per your policy or as per your security requirements. The message or the action should be reject the message with the explanation here, and reject the message include an explanation. Here is the explanation: recipient only allowed to receive internal emails. So you can add as per your security requirement, as per your company policy message. You can add your custom rejection message here, and you can also define the exception here. The exception here is the if the sender is from this domain or from this email address, and the sender domain, you can also exclude the sender domain here. So you can add or you can define here. For example, if I want to add more domain, let's suppose etc.com, we can add the domain here, specify the domain here. So in this way you can add or remove the exception from your Mailflow rules. So once you create the settings or add the settings, actions, conditions, you can save the rule from here. So next rule is to prevent. Here is the condition for the user: if the recipient is located from the outside the organization and the sender is located in or sender is the member of this group, which is restricted users. I had already created a group, mail enable group here, and here's the explanation or action here: block the message and reject the message, include an explanation, which is you are only allowed to send emails internally. So which means this rule will apply to users to or prevent users to send emails outside the organizations. So this statement clearly mentioned here, which is the end user will notify via post mail delivery notification in the email. So you can also define the exception for the sender or the domain as per your requirement. So once you specify the values or conditions and actions or exceptions, you can save the settings here. Let's go through the user experience. I have already logged in with the user, which is the part of the restricted users, and restricted user I have defined in the Mailflow rules. So let me show you the how user will notify from the Mailflow rules. So create a new message for this user. I have entered my email address in the to field. I have entered the email address in to field, and the subject is, for example, test email, and click send. Here you go. So we can see a Mailflow rule notification, a custom Mailflow rule created by admin for this domain has blocked your message, and here is our custom message: you are only allowed to send internal email only. So which means I am a part of this domain, and I am only allowed to send emails only within the organizations. So I cannot send emails outside the organization. Here is the example of the disclaimer. Whenever the user receives an email from outside the organization, you can see outlook.com domain is the outside domain, and here is the caution banner which is displayed on the top of the message here, which is please use caution before opening attachments or clicking links in the email. So in this way you can end user will receive the caution banner on the top of the email message. The purpose of this banner is to alert end user to notify the user this email is from outside the organization. So you have to be more careful while opening attachment or clicking on the links. Maybe user received the email from outside the organization. Maybe email have the malware or malicious content in the email. So in this way we can alert the end user to be more caution. Or here is the quick summary of what we have learned in this video. We have learned what are mail flow rules in Exchange Online, and mail flow rules, also known as transport rules, how mail flow rules transit. It takes action while message in transit, and there is no action when the message is delivered to the mailbox. We also learn mail flow rules components in terms of what would be the condition and what action will be taken, and we can add exceptions if required. We have also learned how mail flow rules apply to message. It always apply to according to the order listed or based on priority. We have also learned how we can stop processing more rules if the rule is matched. It will automatically stop checking the further rules. In the lab exercise, we had created many flow rules and we gained hands-on experience on mail flow rules in Exchange Online. Feel free to subscribe the channel and share this video with your tech community. Thank you so much and thanks for your time.